Chastain, driver of the Trackhouse #1 Chevrolet, here with the Goodyear tire test. And Ross, just give us your opinion and what you've experienced so far here at the test yesterday. I know you guys got out there, got some different things you were able to experience. So just tell us about the repave and what your experience has been so far.
Yeah, it's this is my first true Goodyear tire test at a repave, so a lot for me to learn yesterday, and some nerves going on a fresh track like that. It really actually the cars were closer than I thought than I thought they would be for being basically the first cars. I know Trucks and Xfinity were on the day before, but we had grip, especially in the low line, and throughout the day I kept inching up for the second lane to just try to make sure we had a second lane for when we drafted. And last night we were able to get all three cars out there, and it's only 3, it's not 40, but we were able to follow each other, push each other at the end of the straightaway, and just start to learn what the aerodynamics of drafting here are going to be. It's super speedway style with the banking and the smoothness, but the corners are tighter. We lost a mile from Daytona across the board around the whole track, so the corners are tighter, the straightaways are shorter, and that was the biggest thing for me, was getting to the corner on entry. It feels like Daytona, but then you have to turn a lot sharper than we do at Daytona and Talladega, so it's going to be a bit of a mix.
Let's open it up to questions. Anybody have questions for Ross? Doug Turnbull?
Hey, so you said you were nervous about this being your first Goodyear tire test. And were you more nervous about the feedback you're given, or just the fact that you don't want to have memes made about crashing the car, I guess? When you're being a brand new track, too, it's not good.
Right. Yeah, I think Chris just reset the bar for closest to crashing. His first lap out this morning, the track was still a little damp down in 3 and 4 in the shade. So I get nervous every time I get in a race car, especially a Cup car. And yeah, the last thing I want to do is tear up this Chevrolet that we've got here. We just don't have a lot of parts and pieces, right? It's just the way of the world. So yeah, we just wanted to learn and spend as much time as we can on track, and we'll get going here in a little bit and go until basically probably it rains, and get as many laps as we can. Then we got close to 200 laps yesterday ourselves, and looking for quite a bit more today is whenever we can finally get on track. So yeah, I'm just always nervous about driving race cars.
Tim Crenshaw down front.
How much have you compared what you're feeling this week to previous times here?
How much have I compared? It's a new Atlanta. It is unlike anything I've ever seen of this track. I came here for the first time in maybe 2008 as a fan and watched in the grandstands, and I watched it growing up on TV. It's nothing like I've ever seen. The smoothness of it, the banking, they've narrowed the racing lines in the corners, but the straightaways are probably wider, especially on the front stretch. So depending on where NASCAR ends up on rules of, whether or not there's a double yellow line, it's going to dictate how much of that extra pavement and asphalt we use on the front stretch. And but it's smooth. It's the line. You're not gonna Harvick it anymore. You don't have to wrap the line to have grip. There's grip everywhere, and it's smooth. And they clean up a few things here and there for just a fresh asphalt job that they got done in the wintertime, and they clean up a few things. And this is going to be unlike any Atlanta race you've ever seen. I'm not saying it's full-blown Daytona, drafting with 40 cars in a pack, but it is. It's going to be a different race, and combine that with the next gen car. I'm nervous for it, but I'm excited that I get to be here today and that I get to be a part of this. This is it's kind of like the same as our cars. It's for this track. It's going to be a changing of the guard and a changing of the look of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Down front with Steve Hummer.
Well, part of the Daytona experience is kind of a pucker factor, I think, with waiting for the big one. But, I mean, does that make racing here a little more angst-ridden for drivers?
It does, definitely. Yeah, I'm not bashful about that. A lot of times the best track for a driver is the most worn out, slick, tire fall off, high degradation for tire wear, and we're so out of control we can't even really get around each other because we're just trying not to wreck by ourselves, let alone get side by side or get right behind somebody. Here, that's not the case. You're going to be wide open. You're going to be drafting, bump drafting, especially at the ends of the straightaways, and that's you see at the speedways, at super speedways. The wrecks usually happen at the end of the straightaway. Daytona, Talladega, down into turn 3, down into turn 1, and so I think you're going to see some of that combined with here, where I talk about it's going to be a middle ground. The corners are so much sharper. You're going to have your car handling well. It's going to be maybe like Daytona before they repaved it, which was before I got into the sport. I first raced at Daytona in 2012, and that might have been the first year they repaved it. Before that, guys had to have good handling cars as well as a super speedway car that would draft good. You're going to have a combination of that here. So I'm just what I keep coming back to is just how cool it is for me to be a part of this car in this series right now as it evolves. Big picture, it's going to be a totally different thing with the next gen car, but then you come to these tracks that are also changing, and it's just going to be different.
Let's take one more, and then we'll wrap it up with Ross. We'll go over here.
Have you heard from other drivers on the circuit who are pretty excited to get out on this track? I know you guys kind of get a first-hand look at it, but are they also excited to kind of get out here and see what it's all about?
I don't think that there was. I don't think that every driver in the series was signing up to do this tire test, but I was, and I was excited, and I wanted to come learn and see it for myself, walk the track, feel it in the race car, and see what do we need to do when we come back here. We're going to race here twice, and what do we need to do? So, I think people are coming around though. I think at the beginning, the sport had been how it was for its entire existence. You designed your car, you built it, and you raced it. And now you don't design it and you don't build it. You buy it and you assemble it, and the best, puzzle maker can go put this puzzle together of a race car and go win. And that's what excites me, is that we have that opportunity. And we're not, with Trackhouse being a new team, year 2, but really year 1 of what we are now as a 2-car team, we're not coming in 30 years behind. We have the same parts that every other manufacturer has and every other team. So I think the most drivers that are going to be in the sport have realized that and realized that they better embrace this. Where I've been I still feel thankful to be here, but I just love the opportunity to learn this car and be a better learner than the next guy.
Ross, one last question for you before you head back out and get ready to get on track. What do you think fans can expect when they come here to Atlanta Motor Speedway for both of these races in March and in July? Not that you've been able to get a whole great experience with just 3 cars, but what do you think fans can expect when they come out here for the 2 races here at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Yeah, it'll be a drafting style race. I'm not saying that we're going to be 3 wide, 10 rows deep, but you're going to be only as good as the guy behind you pushing you. And so if you pull out to make a pass and you don't have anybody go with you, you will go to the back. You will go backwards in the line. So a good handling car will still go forward, especially in traffic. But, yeah, it's going to be a speedway drafting style race. We will not be running the wall to gain grip, and we won't be running the line down at the bottom, whatever color that's changed and evolved over the years. We won't be running right on the apron to try to gain grip like Harvick has for years, and we've all learned. You'll be racing on the track wherever the draft is and wherever somebody's going to push you. So you're going to have a lot of friends, and I probably need to get to work on that because I don't know if I have that many.
Ross, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain, driver of the number 1